My mechanic can't figure out my car. Can you figure it out, Wizard? That seems the name of the game this week. Let's get started. So we got a few cars we're going to show you today. We got a Beetle. You guys just saw a video on the Durango, and also there's a 71 Chevy C10 over there. And 2 out of these 3 are that scenario where the mechanic, whoever was working on it last, was at their wit's end, and the customer finally decided, let's get it up to Omega and see what's going on here. I want my car fixed. This is a 2012 Volkswagen Beetle. It's actually a local dealership. And they had their mechanics and even their main mechanic do a ton of work to this engine. Let's go to the engine bay. So just like the Audi Q5 that Danielson fixed, that we actually purchased the entire vehicle from the customer because the engine failed, I have a feeling a similar situation happened here. This is also a 2.0 turbo. And the dealership put in, as you can see here, a complete brand new cylinder head, new timing chain, new tensioners, new valve cover, coils, all kinds of work. They did a real huge amount of work to this engine. And going with the theme of the video, it's still not fixed. They had their senior mechanic check it 2 or 3 times, the timing on the timing chain, and they still are getting codes related to the timing chain. Now, I'm not faulting any work that was done here. I think that the dealership did a really good job. I think they really knocked it out of the park. They just have this code that keeps coming back, or a series of codes, and they're just like, what is going on here? We have a brand new head, brand new timing chain. Everything's been verified 2, 3, 4 times that the timing is dead on. What's the problem here? So they called us at Omega and they said, can you please figure this out? And we said, yes, that's what we do here. We love to do that. So I'll go grab my scan tool and show you what we found. Working on cars can be very challenging and frustrating. There are times where I have to use my scan tool to point me in the right direction and get a car repaired. Unfortunately, when you're having trouble in your life, there isn't some magic scan tool that fixes your problems. I'd like to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp provides online therapy either through video chat, phone call, or messaging, either on your phone or computer. Whatever works best for you. Just go to betterhelp.com/carwizard to get 10% off your first month. The holidays can be a very hard time for people. Lots of family drama, stretching the wallet to get all the perfect gifts, and change in the weather are just a recipe for trouble. Just talking with a therapist can make all the difference. They are specially trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice that can help you navigate the problems life throws at you. To get started, all you have to do is complete a short questionnaire, and they work to match you with one of 30,000 therapists. Yes, I said 30,000. In most cases, they can have a match for you in 48 hours. That's faster than I can fix most of Hoovie's cars. If you don't click with your match, they will let you change the therapist at no additional cost, and no worries about if they are in the right network or if they can meet when you're available. If life's got you down right now and you think you could benefit from therapy, consider BetterHelp. Click the link in the description below or visit betterhelp.com/carwizard. Clicking that link helps support this channel, and it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Please, if you're having a hard time, don't wait. I really believe that we can't always get through life without help. I've seen too many of my Army buddies struggling after they got out. Again, thanks BetterHelp. Now let's get this scan tool and go check out what's going on with that Volkswagen. Alright, get this thing plugged in here. So I've got my handy dandy MaxiSys from Autel here. We'll go ahead and go to Engine Control Module, Trouble Codes. So here we have P0341, Camshaft Position Sensor, Range Performance. It looks like it says circuit, but I think it's meaning the actual performance of the camshaft, not the circuit. And then we have Camshaft Position Timing Over Advanced, and Camshaft Position Slow Response. So I have an Identifix account here I use that you can type in codes and it'll come up with all the common fixes or failures or things based on what codes you see. Let me grab the paperwork and show you what I found based on these codes. Before we get to what we found out was wrong with this vehicle, I'll play the game with you guys and see if you can figure it out. You can let us know in the comments what you think it is. Is it A, the timing chain is completely out of whack, like completely out of time, installed incorrectly? Is it B, the engine is bad, like something's wrong internally inside the engine? Or is it C, a camshaft adjuster? Let you guys choose in the comments what you think it is. Okay, so I typed in those codes onto Identifix, and this really helps to narrow things down. At least gives you some areas to focus on and not just the entire car or the entire engine. So I'll show you the codes I typed in. These are the codes here, 341, P0011, 000A. Those are the codes we just had. Look at this, guys. Almost 150 camshaft adjustment solenoid or valves. It gives procedures actually to test all these items, and I went through the procedures, and it definitely points to the cam adjuster. Let's go take a look at it, see where it's at. So here it is. It actually mounts to this timing cover. It's kind of like a magnet. You can see they reused the old one, which I don't fault them for that, but it's definitely faulty. Now, what were the original symptoms? Why did they dive in and do such an extensive repair? I don't know. I may never know. But it's looking like the timing chains are lined up properly. Everything's like it should be. But unfortunately, they reused a cam adjuster magnet that was bad, possibly bad the whole time. I don't know. But I know it's currently bad. The computer is asking it to do things with the camshaft and nothing's happening. That's why there's performance circuit issue with the code, also slow response, and some of those other things going on. So we'll do some further testing, and then we're going to get the customer an estimate on just replacing that magnet. Very likely that could solve the issue with this engine. So the things I mentioned, like a camshaft position sensor possibly being bad, this one actually has a brand new one on it, which that doesn't mean anything anymore. A brand new one can be bad out of the box these days, but it's getting a good signal. That's definitely not what it is. And like I mentioned, we verified the timing chain marks and everything. It's not that. Something going on with along those lines. That's not what it is. And the engine actually runs good. It's just not adjusting the camshaft like it would like to see or like to do. So there's no internal engine problems. So we'll get the estimate together and see what we do here. But now let's head on over to the Durango. Actually, you guys just saw a video on this 1990 Chevy S10 Durango. It is such a cool little truck. Grimes knocked it out of the park. He diagnosed this and figured out there's something wrong electrically in the distributor, which this would be a computer controlled distributor. It's not points or anything like that. He's actually currently working on something else, so this is definitely, the older cars are definitely down my line. So I jumped on and said, I'll go ahead and replace the distributor. And I pulled it out, and man, it looks bad. Let's take a look. So here's a brand new one out of the box. You can see it's nice and shiny and pretty, nice brass color, and everything's like it should be on the inside. But I'll trade this one with the one Mrs. Wizard has, which is the old one. And it looks like it's been at the bottom of the ocean, guys. The bolts that hold on this ignition module are rusted. The rotor inside of here is rusted. All the electronics are severely corroded. Very, very bad. So definitely this thing was for sure bad. So I've got the brand new one here. I'm getting ready to install it, and it should take care of the issues here. This was no issue here with a mechanic, a prior mechanic working on it or anything. That's not what was going on with this vehicle. So we'll get this new distributor installed. They'll be back on the road. They can enjoy their little Durango. Now the next one we're going to take a look at was also my previous mechanic. Whoever the mechanic was at their wit's end. Let's go take a look.
Okay, wait a minute, Wizard. We've done a video on this one before.
Yes, we did an alternator. We converted it to power steering, which it never had in the first place. We added it and it works very well. There's no issues going on there. This is a 1971 Chevy C10 and is in very, very good condition. This customer had someone else, I don't know, another mechanic or whatever, do a tune-up, possible some issues running bad, and they replaced some parts and made the issue worse. And this customer said, okay, stop. We're done here. I'm going to take it to Omega and get this sorted out. I don't want to play the guessing game. Let's just stop where we're at. So we got this in. It wouldn't even run. It was backfiring through the carburetor. It was really, really off. It was bad. So if you old timers out there that have worked on these old carbureted engines, you've got a car that tries to start, it backfires through the carburetor, it runs horrible if it does try to run, and it just won't start. What could it be? Is it A, the carburetor is severely out of adjustment or something's internally wrong with the carburetor? Is it B, the ignition system as in the distributor, something's wrong going on with the distributor? Or is it C, low compression on the actual internal engine? So I did some testing to get to the answer what's going on here. And I started to notice some things. The last time it was here, it had the old style, crusty old distributor on it. But this time around, it had a shiny, brand new one. I got my dwell meter and got some things out, started doing some checks, and it was completely out of whack. And I checked the firing order with the spark plug wires because I could see those have been replaced as well with this tune-up. The firing order was backwards. It wasn't 180 out or something like that. It went the wrong direction on top of the other issues. So was it a compression issue inside the engine? No, it has good compression. We did a compression test, it's very strong. And also you can unhook the coil and crank it over. It should have nice even staccato type of a cranking. It does, it cranks very strongly. Is it a carburetor issue? No, the carburetor actually will run very well. And I proved that by putting the firing order correctly, and I found the condenser was bad inside the distributor. So I had the points in there. Even with a brand new distributor, the condenser was bad. I got it to run decent, but it was still hesitating, a little bit rough, and probably the points were out of adjustment. And I just stopped there. We contacted the customer and said, we know the engine's healthy, it wants to run good, but you have some issues with this distributor. I think it's a crappy Chinese Amazon distributor or something. Do you want us to fool with all these points and try to get everything dialed back in, or what do you want to do here? And she said, is there a way you could actually, since we're going to be doing this, convert it to electronic ignition? I said, yes. GM actually already made the system. It's called HEI. I said, I'll just convert you over to an HEI distributor. We'll take the old one out and yeet it into the ocean.
No, I want it.
Oh, that's right. You want to do some parts with it, huh?
That would be nice.
We'll see if the customer wants their old parts back. They may want them back so they can go bonk the old guy, the previous guy on the head with it. Who knows? But let's take a look. So some of you are thinking, what? 2 distributors in 1 week? Yes, sometimes it can go that way. This is a brand new points distributor. You can even see the printing. GM10279 something, a bunch of numbers. I don't know. It's brand new. The old condenser that was in here, well, it wasn't old, it was actually new, was half the size of this one, and it was bad. I replaced that, it actually would run decent. But I imagine the timing and the dwell and the point, everything was out of adjustment. I'm sure it was completely out of whack. We're not even going to mess with that because, like I said, we're converting it to HEI, which means that this is going away, and this is going away. So as you can see where the old distributor was, you can see now I've inserted the HEI distributor base at the exact timing or everything that it was before. I marked where the rotor was, it's back exactly where it was before. You can see the old cap there from the old points distributor. I got it just set aside for now, but I'm not going to be able to use those wires or anything like that, so that's just going to be pulled out. So as you can see, the old cap is smaller, and the coil was separate from the cap. I had to remove the coil bracket and everything to fit this larger HEI distributor. It has electronics all built into it. It has the sensor and all the different electronics already installed. It uses vacuum just like the old one. And here's our cap. The coil is actually built into the top of the cap. All I have to do is wire in power and ground, and it'll work perfectly. I'll kind of just set it on there what it's going to look like. Just like that. There's literally hundreds of thousands of Chevy small blocks on the road with HEI. It all bolts in. It's very simple to convert, and it's a huge, huge upgrade. HEI is known for much smoother idle, better throttle response, way better, leagues better than points. So the customer's going to be very happy with that. I imagine it's going to run smooth. As soon as I get the timing dialed in, it's going to be perfect. This is a very nice truck. I've seen it driving around a few times. The customer wants to keep it in tip-top shape and running good. She takes it to car shows and things, and I definitely would too because it's so nice. Let's head back to the Beetle. A lot of mechanics have good intentions, or they think they know what it is, or hey, I'm going to help this person out, I'm going to get this done, and then the end result is, oh my God, what did I do wrong? What happened here? And just in this situation here, I really respect the mechanics that worked on it. They didn't try to be a hero or try to lie about the situation. They just said, hey, let's just stop. Let's get someone in here or take it to Omega, get it figured out. Because they want the end result just as well as I do, to be a good running engine with no check engine light, everything to be in order. That's exactly what they're doing here. I really kudos to them for that. Grace D actually joked with me the other day. He was like, what happened to the day of water pumps and radiators and simple jobs? He said, everything that comes through the door anymore is hard stuff that other people can't figure out. I said, well, actually I kind of enjoy that. It kind of keeps us on our toes. It keeps us kind of like a knife. You got to sharpen it once in a while. It keeps us sharp in here. I really enjoy doing the harder jobs. People can't figure out other stuff. I'm happy to help out and get to the bottom of it. So I've got all three of these to me in my little corner over here. The other guys are busy doing really good, knocking it out of the park. I've got 2 distributors to install and finish up those, and then we'll get an estimate on this Beetle. Very likely we'll get the job and put the new actuator on and it'll be back in business. I definitely wanted to show you guys where we're at with a few of these cars and some of the scenarios and see if you guys could figure out in the comments what was wrong with them and then what it ended up actually being. I really like these Beetles. I think they're really cool cars. I'll be happy to get this one back on the road with no check engine light, and it'll be ready for I don't know if they're going to sell it or if it's the customer's current vehicle, or I don't know the story. All I know is we got to fix it. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check the link in the description to check that out. Just like I mentioned in the ad, Life doesn't have a scan tool that you can magically figure out your problems, but they can definitely help you out there. Mrs. Wizard has some eBay auctions going on with more part work, as she calls it. It's kind of artwork, but it's car parts. Check the description for that as well and go see what's going on there. Also, Mrs. Wizard's Ways has videos for you guys to go watch. Any of the tools we use in the shop is listed on our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. There's great gift ideas there to buy for Christmas for people. Anything you purchase, we get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button here because we have many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching.